What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody enjoyed their Saturday. We had a snow day here in the Carolinas, so we had to make it up today. I hope everybody enjoying weather or enduring the weather, wherever you are. I just want to say thanks to all those who have commented, subscribed, gave good wishes. Appreciate that. Appreciate the feedback. Those of us who are up and coming content creators, we need one another. I mean, not just now, but for as long as all of us will do this. As the saying goes, no man is an island. So I definitely appreciate all of the support. And those of you who have watched videos and left comments and thumbs up, and said nice words or not so nice words, appreciate it all. Leave them comments. Leave your thoughts. That's what this channel is about. Professor X perspective. So you can leave your perspective in any fashion you like. I want to talk about something that was on my mind this morning. It's been on my mind for a while, but it came kind of back into my mind this morning. Obviously, from the title, you can see this is going to be my gender war rant. I'm going to subtitle it Monkey in the Middle. A lot of y'all might be too young to remember that game. But back in the day, we would gather around in a circle, and one person would be in the middle of the circle, and we would throw the ball back and forth so that the person in the middle would not be able to get it. That was the objective, to make them keep reaching up or reaching down, and that's kind of how it got its name, because they're reaching up, they're trying to get it. So that's how it got its name, Monkey in the Middle. Some people call it keep away. I didn't want y'all to think I was calling nobody no monkey, because I'm definitely not trying to do that. But I was thinking about the gender wars, and I was thinking about that's kind of what's going on. You have the ladies on one side saying one thing, and you have the men on the other side saying their thing. And I wonder sometimes, are we really trying to get to the bottom of it, or do we just want to keep saying our thing? Not really wanting anybody to get a hold of it, or not wanting to get a hold of it ourselves. So the men are saying that the women are now, in particular, the black woman, is talking to men in a way that shows lack of respect. And the men are saying that they are no longer wanting to be submissive the way they used to be. And that's what the men are saying. And then that ball goes across and the women grab it, and then they say, well, we're tired of y'all treating us any kind of way. Well, what do you mean? We're tired of the cheating. And then they throw the ball back, and then we throw something else. So what I want to do today, just for a moment, let's slow that down. Let's pause the ball. Let's not throw it no more. Let's look at what is really being said and ask ourselves, is it true? Ladies, is it true? And this may not apply for everybody. Obviously, this is not just a big blanket that can be thrown over all women. So as I say oftentimes, if it don't apply let it fly. However, when we see that men, and we'll get to women in a minute, are continuing to say the same thing, and it's coming up more and more and more as a consensus, we need to slow down and really ask ourselves, is it true what men are saying? Take away any excuse that we want to use as to why a woman may talk reckless. Let's take that away. Let's just focus on, is it true? In the black community, if we're going to have in the future better relationships than what it has been as of late, we're not going to figure it out, men in the barbershop. We're not going to figure it out, ladies in the beauty salon. You're not going to figure it out getting your face peeled. We're not going to figure it out just in the gym amongst ourselves. At some point, there needs to be an adult conversation where we can say our part, you can say your part as ladies, and we get to the bottom of it. So is it true, ladies, my black ladies in particular, is it true that you all may be talking a little more aggressive, disrespectful to men? Now, let me just say this to ladies who may or may not know. I don't want to assume everybody know. The way that women read disrespect and the way that men read disrespect is not the same thing. The way we read disrespect is not going to be the same thing. We're made up two different ways as to what our expectations of the world and our lady is. So to a man, the way he is spoken to is going to be way more, and to a man, disrespectful than necessarily, say, a woman. A woman, if you call her out her name, maybe using the B word, and you a man and you call a woman the B word, of course she's going to, when there's, swearing and cussing involved, of course a woman will say, he's talking to me in a disrespectful way. But for a man, you don't even have to cuss at a man, just the way that you talk to him, and I'm going to add, and or the lack of support in that man, in a man, we will see that. Most men, again, I don't want to try to speak for all men, most men will see that as disrespectful. That's why you're going to see more times among men, with men, when we're speaking to one another, you're more apt to hear a man say to another man, man, who you think you talking to? And the dude might not have even cussed at him or called him a name, but whatever he said, we took it as disrespectful. So we was really quick to put him back in check. Man, who do you think you talking to? I'm not your son, right? We're going to, whatever it is, I'm not your kid. I'm not, and we're going to let them know real quick, you might want to change how you're talking to me. Whereas a woman will read disrespect in a different way. So that's why I'm asking ladies, is it true that maybe without thinking, you all have been more loose with the tongue, more aggressive in your tone, more of late than maybe the years gone by in a relationship? I'm just asking, is it true? Because obviously the men are saying this is coming up a lot. And when men feel disrespected, they move a certain type of way. Either to remove themselves for the situation or find a situation where they feel honored. And a lot of time that leads to other issues as well. So that's all I'm asking. The first question is, ladies, is it true? Ask yourself individually, am I reckless with my mouth towards my man, or in the past for whatever reason. I was dating, after I was divorced, I was dating a lady, black woman, good money, good looking. And I noticed, because at this point in my life and at that point, I had kind of already been aware of some things. I was wiser than I was when I was 20, just popping off at the mouth. Just crazy, like almost like she was a dude. So I said to her, did somebody in your past, a man, hurt you? Because you're talking real reckless to me, almost in a disrespectful way. And it came out that it was. So that's what I'm saying. And I knew then. I gave opportunity for it to change. I let her know, hey, I'm aware of this. It's not something I can put up with. We're gonna go a couple months and see if it never changed. And I removed myself from the situation where we could only be friends, because I knew as a man, you can't keep disrespecting me that way. Now, if I'm doing something wrong, that's one thing. But if you're just on the regular running off at the mouth, I cannot continue to stay in a situation and let that happen. So I removed myself, because the way a woman talks to a man is oftentimes how we read respect. How you speak to us and the support you give us is how we're going to read respect. So women a lot of times say, I cook, I clean, I do this, I do that, I this. But you got to ask a man what's important to him. Just like we have to ask a woman what's important to you. Don't assume, ask your man, would you rather I wash your clothes and cook for you, or would you rather I spoke to you in a way that showed honor and respect? And see what he say. See what he say. See what he say. He gonna say, I can wash my own clothes. I cook my own food. If he had a choice and you're giving him a choice, he's gonna take the way you speak to him as priority every time. All right, let's pass the ball to the other side. Men, are we in relationships, exclusive relationships, and are cheating within that relationship? Because the women are saying we keep cheating. Men, we have to answer that question. Now, let me put in Professor X's perspective right here, if I can. Men has been cheating since the beginning of time. It don't make it right. Just listen to what I'm saying. 50 years ago, when divorces was low, because remember I said in another video that divorce now is 70% filed by women. I said on another video. 50 years ago, women wasn't filing for divorce like that, yet men were cheating. So we got to catch up with the time. So what's going on here? Why is there such a difference in men cheating all of a sudden? Like this is like it's an epidemic. You know what the difference is? 50, 60 years ago, when our grandmothers were here, they were not in the workplace making the money. So the men, they either worked a little part-time job, maybe a full-time job. It wasn't enough to keep a place. It wasn't enough to keep a car. It wasn't enough to do those things. More or less a little pocket change. It took a man who at that time was dominating the workforce, and they had to be taken care of. So a lot of them knew that their men were cheating on them. Sally Mae knew that Roger was dipping and slipping, but she chose security over faithfulness because she needed a place to stay. And so the older women and everybody in the town would know. They would know who dipping and slipping. They would know that. But women needed security. And men offered that just based on finance, of who dominated the workplace. So a woman had to say, I can open my mouth and say something and be on the street, or I can keep my mouth closed, keep faking the funk, going through the motions, taking care of this man, and let him take care of me, and I not have any worries financially. And that's what they did. I'm not everybody, but I'm saying that's a rough draft of what pretty much happened. Don't think that was not going on. Papa Was a Rolling Stone is the songs that was coming out. They've been doing it. What the difference is today is now women are in the bag. They getting money now. So a woman can now say certain things I don't have to put up with no more. Because I had a house when you met me. I had 2 cars when you met me. You ain't paid a bill here since you met me. So their tolerance level for what they will put up with is not going to be the same as a woman the same age back in the 50s and 60s. So that's why it seems like out the blue, men been cheating. Now that that's out the way, let's address it. Men, what are we going to do about being in an exclusive relationship, particularly married, where we say, yes, I will honor, cherish, hold, all these things? When are we going to learn to, as I call it, possess our own vessel? If they have to stop talking reckless, we have to come off the streets and be a man and be faithful to just that one woman. Professor X, you say this is the end all be all. No, it's not going to fix every relationship. I'm just pointing out 2 things. Because as they say, you can't turn the ship on a dime. It has to be a slow turn. So I'm just pointing out 2 things that we can start applying in our relationships that may cause us to be a little bit better. We got to start listening. We got to start listening to one another and asking ourselves the question, instead of throwing the ball back, instead of playing keep away, instead of not wanting to deal with it, instead of taking the responsibility, we have to ask ourselves, is it true? And then fix. Men, let's fix our own selves before the women have to fix theirs. Women, can you all work on those areas as we work on ourselves? And maybe it'll take a generation before it catch on, but we have to start somewhere. Because just throwing the ball back and forth is not helping anybody. But anyway, thank y'all for listening. Put some comments down there. Tell me what y'all think. Throw some more things out there that from the men and the women that we need to discuss and that we need to talk about to get back on the same page so that we can be reunited into having healthy relationships. Because just the gender war of playing monkey in the middle is not going to work. Y'all be blessed.